Hello, everybody. I realize that I set up this live stream with very short notice, so I don't actually know how many people I will have in the stream, but I wanted to um, record or share the opening of all of these little decks. I did place another order from my favorite Ukrainian seller. By the way, let me put that on the screen. I'm hoping it shows up. All I see is the black screen, but this is what the DevaniShop site looks like for the Etsy store. So this is my favorite Ukrainian seller that I have frequently showed decks from. Very nice lady. I really like her a lot, and I like being able to help her during this time of struggle. So when you receive decks from Uliana at DevaniShop, you will receive actually little presents. Oh, here, let me show you on the card cam. Might be easier. Okay. So you have a little present tied up in a bow. There's some bags on the back side of this one. It's the first time that I've had bags show up with the decks, but there are two decks. Here's another one with a bow, and here's another one that's all wrapped up that was part of a 2-deck parcel that I already opened. So it is like just little individual presents. Now I can't remember. Just so you know, I'm feeling a bit scattered because recently, not yesterday, but the day before, we woke up to at about 3:45 in the morning. Woke up to a good piece of a tree falling on top of the house. It was the winter storm, and we lost internet and power. Not just us, the whole section of the state. Basically, the energy company brought in teams from other states to try and get the power back on. So we went about a day and a half or so without power. We got it back yesterday, but everything needs to be reset. My second monitor isn't working, so I'm used to having 2 monitors, so I'm feeling a bit discombobulated about that. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, we have tree all over our yard. Hey, Sharon, I think it's just you and me right now. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. I am just going through some of these. I got a new shipment of decks from DevaniShop, my favorite Ukrainian seller. So I figured I would show them to everybody as I'm looking at them for the first time. The reason I'm doing a live stream at this hour, it's 10:30 my time. Ukraine is 8 hours ahead of us, so it's 6:30 p.m. there. And I wanted to do a live stream where hopefully she'll be able to join us and watch the live stream and possibly interact with some of the folks in chat as well. So it is kind of a weird time, which I think is also throwing me off a little bit. But hey, we're here. Now, the first deck I'm going to show you is the printing on the box is Cyrillic of some kind. I don't know if it's Russian or Ukrainian or exactly what it is, but all of the printing on the deck is in a foreign language. According to the description on the shop selling site, hey, Debbie, good to see you. Thank you for joining. I know it was last minute. Very cool, though. This deck is called the Law of Attraction Tarot on Uliana's Etsy shop. And it's supposedly based on the movie The Secret. So if you have seen The Secret, some of this may look familiar to you. I believe there are multiple versions of The Secret tarot deck out there, different countries of origin. So I know there's one that's more prevalent here in the U.S. Let me see if I can get this closer. You can see there are no words on the cards, so you have to kind of just pay attention to the numbers. And when we get to the minor arcana, I'll show you how to determine what the suit is. But here, the first card is the Fool, and then we have the Magician, High Priestess, Empress, Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers, Chariot. Now in this deck, the 8 is the Justice card. So when we get to 11, that will obviously be the Strength card. Hermit. Wheel of Fortune. And as promised, here's the Strength card. 12 would be the Hanged Man. He's balancing himself. 13 is the Death card. Then we have Temperance and the Devil, the Tower, Star, good morning, Kathy. It's good to see you. Happy holidays to you as well. There's Moon and Sun, Judgment, and the World card. Now, the suits have numbers at the top and the suit depiction at the bottom. So I'm starting off with the suit of swords. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through, not necessarily read the number off, because some of these images don't necessarily align with what we know of as the images in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. Some of them are very close. Like this one I could see easily as being the 4 of Swords. 5 of Swords. I really do like seeing, I've become quite a fan of decks from other countries. Because sometimes, the decks that we always find here in the US are very much the same throughout all the decks. So this is a unique take on them. There's the King of Swords. And here we have wands. You can see the wand at the bottom of the card. I'm trying to go slowly enough that my camera can focus on them so that you can see the image as I'm going through them. 5 of Wands, 6. Are any of you guys in chat in the middle of some of that winter weather? It hit here first, and I think it's headed out east now. It's pretty messy for a while. And I was actually feeling sorry for myself. I'm so cold. I don't have internet. We don't have power. How could we cook? And then I realized what's going on overseas, and it kind of set me straight. Here we're looking at the Suit of Cups, by the way. That's the 2. Here we have the 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Page. Now, something interesting in this deck. The page has the image of a horse at the top. The knight has a crown, but it's not as big as the queen or king crown. So that threw me off a little bit when I first went through this deck, but it holds true. In one of these suits, it's very definite that the knight is on a horse, but he has that red crown or that small crown. 4 of Pentacles, 5, 6, 7. Once I get done with this live stream, I'm going to spend some time just looking at, I believe that's the Euro symbol, that E with the 2 lines. I'm going to spend some time just looking at this deck and trying to make the associations in my head. The Queen of Pentacles makes sense. The nice lady, the nice man carrying the bags and such for the lady. Sharon, I don't remember. Where are you? I'm in northern Wisconsin, so I apologize in advance if I'm sending some icky weather to you. Okay, so, instead of making the switch of the camera every time I open a new package, I am going to open them all on my regular camera before we do the flip through of the cards. Oh, Sharon, you are in Wisconsin. I'm up by Eau Claire. So I'm in the northern part of the state. And now that I had that conversation, I think I talked to you about being in Wisconsin before already. So I'm going to be opening these little individual packages and pulling out the decks of cards. So then it'll be more streamlined when I do the flip through of the decks. And this way I can tell you the name of the deck too. This one is, a lot of the decks on this site are listed as rare because apparently they've been out of print overseas. So they're reproductions of out of print decks. So the name of this one is Rare Children Tarot. So it's tarot for kids. And I'm excited to flip through this deck because it is going to be images that children drew that are related to tarot. Next, we will open up this one. Highs in the teens next week. Oh, okay. Sharon, before COVID, before being forced to work from home all the time, I would be driving past the Dells fairly frequently because our main office is in Madison. So it was like a 3-hour drive from the Eau Claire area down to Madison and right past the Dells there. All right. Yep, and these are that little package that I showed you earlier tied in with the bundles. There are a couple of little sheer bags for the decks, which are really cute. So now I'll get the wrapping paper off these other 3 decks, and then I'll switch to the other camera, and we'll start going through what the... Oh, Debbie, I hope your headache feels better. It was good to see you. Thank you for joining. I do hope you feel better, though. Headaches are no joke. Here we have Tarot Familiars, which let me look here. I wonder if I got that one by mistake because it's not listed on this order here. I was going to give you the name of it. This is a deck that I wanted, though, so I'm totally fine with it. What else do we have here? Oh, this one will be the Tarot of Metamorphosis, I believe. There are 2 cards in the Tarot of Metamorphosis that totally jumped out at me. So I'm curious to see. I'll just verify that is what that one is. Oh, good. And here we have the Buckland Romani Tarot, created by Raymond Buckland, if you're familiar with that name. So let me switch to the card cam here. And I'll break into the plastic and we will look at this Romani Tarot first because it's the one that's the most handy at the moment. So there's what the back looks like. Raymond Buckland, art by Lisanne Lake. And this is another deck that is just images. Now let me try turning off that light. That looks better. That looks more true to what the cards actually look like. So here we have the Fool and the High Priestess, or I'm sorry, the Magician. Wow, these are very different than, I like these. These are very different than, I'm going to have to really think about these cards as I'm looking at them. Here we have the 5, which would be, the Hierophant. The Lovers is obvious. Here we have the Chariot. Strength is 8 is the Strength, and then we have the Hermit. the Wheel, Justice, the Hanged Man. We have Death, Temperance, the Devil, Tower, Star. That card is so beautiful. Moon and Sun. I love the blue and yellow flag there. Judgment and the World. Now, this deck, you can see at the bottom, it has different suits. So this is the Ace of Coros. But just based on the photo, this would be the suit of cups because it has a cooking pot or a cauldron. And this has bowls. So this would be the 2 of cups. Here's the 3, the 4, 5 milk jugs there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and finally the King of Cups. The next suit is going to be the suit of Swords, but in this deck it's called Chives, and I associate that with something that you might hear in a prison movie, about a weapon in a prison movie, but it's obvious in this deck that there are swords or daggers or blades of some kind in these cards. So this suit is easy to figure out. Very cool deck, though. I think when I ordered this, there was only one left at the time. I believe the last time I was out on the DevaniShop Etsy site, I believe that she has some more of these in stock now. But it's a cool little deck. And I'm a Raymond Buckland fan, so had to get it. There's the King of Cups. Now this next one must be the suit of Wands, and it's called Cautious. K-O-S-H-E-S. So there's the Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. And this one, it would be the suit of Pentacles. It's called Bowlers or Bowlers, but it has wagon wheels in each of the images. 3, 4. Oh, this one isn't wagon wheels. It's kind of like stained glass sunflowers in the window there. But I guess as long as it's a round circle, the circular shape, it qualifies as a pentacle, right? 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Yeah, Kathy, it would take a lot of thought, and I am actually thinking about doing, it would be too much for one show, but maybe a couple of shows about correspondences to help make it easier to decipher some decks that don't follow the traditional imagery, or might be a little less familiar to what we automatically associate with images. In my studies through the years, I have discovered, a lot of correspondences between, could be crystals and gemstones, or it could be Wicca, or it could be elements, or it could be, I don't know a lot about astrology at all, so I would obviously leave that part out. But I think I might be pushing myself a little bit more to get that put together and actually do it. So what the deck that I'm going to show right now is the, let me verify the exact name on the website. It is the Tarot of Metamorphosis. And this is a more of a, I don't want to say cartoon, but it's less lifelike. Obviously, as we look through here, you'll see once we get specifically to the cards that I am thinking about. Well, here's one of them, the Hierophant. This card jumped out at me because, you know, it has the face underneath the waterfall, and then the little streams. I don't know. This one really got me, and the other one was the Seven of something. Seven of Wands is the other one that jumped out at me on the website. So it's like these cards bring what we would unthinkingly call inanimate objects. It brings them to life, which I really like. This is the Chariot, Justice, Hermit, the Wheel, the snail there, Strength, Hanged Man. I'm catching myself spending time taking a little bit longer to look at the cards rather than moving on to the next card. It's going to take me some time to absorb these. Here we have the Devil and the Tower, the Stars, the Moon. This one is kind of interesting because, you know, this was a thriving city at one point, I don't know, however many hundreds or thousands of years ago, and the reflection is the city skyline as we would see it today. So I like the way there's movement in these cards. Things evolve and change and grow or decrease or increase. Pretty cool. Next, let's look at the Suit of Swords. And it does say, I just saw your comment, Kathy. Let me go back and get the Tower. Oh, yeah. I'm going to find this on her website and show you what it looks like. Search items. Okay, so now I'm going to share this tab, and it's going to look like it's all black on my side. So hopefully you're able to see it. But this is on the DevaniShop Etsy page, and it's called the Tarot of Metamorphosis. So that's what the immediate cover photo will look like, or the description will look like. And sometimes it's hard to tell the images from a distant photo like this, but this is where I saw that seven, the tree man. I just already started calling him the tree man in my head. It's a very cool deck. All right, so let's go back to the card cam where I still have the Tower sitting there. All right, the Suit of Swords. So we start off with the Ace, the 2, 3, 4 of Swords. This one cracks me up because it's like a little fairy sitting there. There's another fairy watching, and there's the head of a horse or a donkey with the body of a human. 5 of Swords. Ooh. If I remember right, that's usually the bully card. And this would be, there's no book that comes with this deck, so I'm just going based on my own interpretation. So correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it a golem that can be created out of dirt or earth or something to protect or the creator or defeat somebody? And that's what this looks like. It looks like this little kid has created a golem for the bully card. Somebody much stronger than the child is in order to achieve a desired result. Six of Swords, 7, 8, 9, 10 of Swords. That's interesting because it's not the traditional 10 swords in the back that we're used to. Okay, these court cards are out of order, so let me go back. 10 of Swords, and then the Page or the Knave of Swords. Then we have the Knight and the Queen, and finally the King. All right, so now we have the suit of chalices or cups. I think of this suit as, to help give you ideas of how to interpret it in other decks. It could be a cup or a cauldron or a glass or a wineskin. Or since the suit of cups has to do with the element of water, sometimes you'll see a deck that uses seashells or sand or fish or seahorses or mermaids, things that are water related for the suit of cups. The Knight. Oh, here we go. These are out of order again, but I'm just going to go with it. The Knight of Cups, and then the King of Cups, he's really cool too because it's a city built on a hillside, but you can see the face and the buildings are his crown. And here on the right-hand side is his arm, and he's holding something, a tower in his hand, or what would be his hand. Here we have the Knight, and finally the Queen. Now we have the suit of Wands. So all of these are going to have wood or fire in their themes. Since this is the fire element, you sometimes see could be a candle, could be a campfire, it could be the elemental associated with the element of fire is a salamander. So if you see salamanders, that would lead you to trace it back to the suit of fire, or the direction of south. The 10 of Wands, court cards out of order. We have the Knave or the Page, the Knight. Well, they actually are in order for this deck. The Queen, and finally the King. The last one is Pentacles, which is the suit of Earth. So pretty much anything round, or it could be a rock. It could be trees, trees and grass and forests and so on. Pentacles are associated with the direction of north, and the elemental that's associated with the suit of Pentacles are gnomes. And they're not the gnomes that we are used to. I really find the information about the elementals that correspond to each of the 4 directions to be really interesting. Okay, so that was the Tarot of Metamorphosis. I have 2 more to go through, and then I will wrap up the live stream for the day. For those of you who might have come in a little bit late, I know this is definitely not my usual time to do live streams, but there's an 8-hour time difference between where I am here in Wisconsin and Ukraine. So I was hoping that Uliana would be able to join, live and in person as I'm going through the decks. I did not hear back from her, so I don't know if she was able to join and is just watching, or what the case might be. Hopefully she'll be able to see it later, though. Let's see. All right, so this is the children's tarot deck that I showed you the box. This one will probably be much. Okay, we're starting, instead of starting off in the major arcana, we are starting off right in the suit of cups. So since this is coming from a child's perspective, I expect that these will be probably pretty simple images. Not simple as in not intelligent, but simple as in easier to understand. And the A's through the 10 look like they're pretty much pip cards, although they are partially illustrated by these little images. And then we have a full illustration for the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So next we go to the suit of pentacles. And again, since these are simpler cards, I'm just going to go ahead and I usually go a little bit faster through pip cards. Can zoom them in a little bit so you can see the smaller image on the, this happens to be the 5. Here's the 6. I don't know, my camera's not really zooming or focusing really well when it's that close, but that's okay. Here's the 7, 8, 9, 10, the page, the knight, the queen, and finally the king. I just based on the images that I saw on the website, this just looks like a fun little deck to me. Probably not one that will be very incredibly deep. But you know how kids have that way of just blurting out whatever they want to say without if they're more unfiltered. So I think that as I work with this deck in particular, I kind of suspect that's how this deck is going to turn out to be, is maybe a little less structured, a little less filtered, a little less reserved, but fun at the same time. I will keep them pretty much in order before I do a standalone video for this deck, and then I'll start working with them. And at some point, I'll report to you guys, probably just randomly, my experience with this deck. I think it'll be a fun one. We're going to finish up the suit of swords, and then we'll go through the major arcana, the queen, and finally the king. I like these images. They're just fun. Here we have the magician, the high priestess, the empress, and the emperor, the hierophant, the lovers, the chariot, justice, hermit, the wheel, and strength with the puppy dog there, a hanged man, death, temperance, the devil, the tower, stars, moon, sun, judgment, and finally the world. I just realized that I should do this. Let me show this. So this is the name of the shop where I get these decks, just so you know. I should have thought ahead and had that up from the very beginning, but like I said, I'm a bit discombobulated. Okay. Oh, by the way, please do, as I'm opening this deck, please do remember to give the video a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe for when I do live. I know this one, I just threw this one together with about 10 minutes to spare before it was supposed to start. Okay, so this is the Tarot Familiars deck. This is one that I had on my list to buy anyway. I had actually ordered the, there's an alchemy, a 1977 alchemy deck. So I'll just go ahead and reorder that. Just not a big deal. All right, so here's the information about the Tarot of Familiars. Now this deck is available here in the US. So you can either choose to go ahead and support DevaniShop and order it through her Etsy shop. You know, these cards feel a little bit smaller than the previous ones. I wonder if I'm imagining that. Or you can find it on Amazon and so on. However, I'm biased. I suggest that people buy it through DevaniShop. That's the whole reason for doing this video. Justice. I really like the familiars that are depicted on these cards. Oh, somehow I'm off of my comments here. Now we have Wheel of Fortune and Strength. Hanged Man. I like all the kitty cats in here. The Tower card. The Lightning with the Owl. Star. There's a bunny. And another bunny. It's funny that the Judgment card is a cat. Cats do get those looks on their faces, and you know they're judging you. Okay, so the minors look like mostly pip cards. But the cards in this deck that are illustrated are beautifully illustrated. So here's the Page of Pentacles, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. Next, we're going to look at the Suit of Cups. So the Owl is the Ace. And then we'll jump into just pip cards for the numbered cards. I know that some people sometimes have, yes, Jen Lynn does need this one. She has her own little, Rover is going to be definitely a tarot cat, I think. She's adorable. Here's the Page of Cups and the Knight. So owls must be the theme for the Suit of Cups. And we'll test that as we go through the Suit of Swords, because we have the Raven or the Crow, whichever you prefer, the Corvid on the Ace of Swords. So we'll just go through and see if we have the Raven or the Crow or the Blackbird on the court cards here as well. And we do. All right, so Queen and finally the King. All right, so the last one, the Suit of Wands, is Pussycats. Speaking of Roro. I like the way these are wands with books. But I'm a reader. I have more books than I'll ever read in my lifetime. Yeah, and the theme holds true for this too. So we have kitty cats for the court cards on this deck. And I have to tell you, that's the last card I'm going to show you. So I'll actually go back to a dual camera here. I know that black cats get a bad rap, and they totally do not deserve it. I currently have my first black cat ever. He's one that, hello, Doug. Oh, and Teresa's here too. Good to see everybody. I was looking at my cards then, not looking at the chat. I'm glad you're here. It was short notice for the live, so I'm really glad that you were able to make it. Yeah, I adopted a black cat, and he had a rough life as a kitty. He was live trapped and taken to the shelter because the lady noticed that he was having issues with one of his ears. Turns out he had ear mites so bad that he shredded his one ear. So it's just kind of like crumbled up skin instead of a full standing up ear. His other one is a regular ear. He also has a pellet permanently embedded in his shoulder. So he has reason to be wary and a little spooky, but he is the sweetest little boy. As long as you give him attention on his terms. I don't think he'll ever be a lap cat, and he does not like to be picked up, but he will cuddle and play, and he's the most talkative thing. I love black cats. I'm a huge fan of them, so I recommend them. Pete had a black cat before as well, and he said it had a very similar personality. So I don't know if it has to do with the color or not. I know that orange tabbies tend to be males, and they tend to be very large. Siamese talk a lot. So I think that there are some tendencies in the cat family or cat characteristics. But my black cat is he's my little boyfriend. It brings me to the end of the decks that I was going to show you from DevaniShop. I'm going to do individual videos for these decks so that if people do a Google search, they're able to find, just a little 5-minute video instead of watching this whole, what are we at, 40 minutes for this live stream. So I will post those as well. And I have a deck here. I want to do another live stream sometime because I have a few other type of decks from different sources. This is an Oracle deck that was created by one of my fellow students. I took Johnny's tarot class that started this past January, and I don't remember if it was a 6-week or an 8-week class. But one of my fellow students in that class created this Oracle deck with her own art. So I'll give you a tease. It's called the Make Room for Good Oracle. Now, she does not have, as far as I know, she doesn't have a website or anything to be able to order these. So if you're interested in another Oracle deck, feel free to email me, tarot at trilliumtarot.com, and I can put you in touch with Marianne. So there's the name of the card and the image, and then there's the description or the thought at the bottom of the card. But I'll do a completely separate video about this Oracle deck. I do hope she's able to make a success of it because it is a really nice little deck. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I know that Autumn will be starting her stream, her daily noon stream, in about 45 minutes or so. Well, actually, it'll be closer to an hour because she usually starts about 1:15 instead of at noon itself. And on Monday, for those of you who don't know, Autumn hosts a live stream or a watch party for the Gen 6 hearings. And Monday is supposed to be the last one. So feel free to join for that. I didn't know what to expect when I did my first watch party online, but it was a lot of fun. So I encourage you to consider that if you have the option to do so. And with that, my friends, I am going to go ahead and bring this to a close. Thank you so much to those of you who were able to join, Kathy and Doug and Teresa and Sharon, of course. Sharon, I don't know how you jump from stream to stream and do so many live streams, but it is greatly appreciated. And Kathy W., of course. Excuse me. And Debbie was here earlier as well. So I will run into you guys in chat for other live streams going on around us. And my next live stream will be planned a bit more in advance, so it won't be like a 10-minute surprise, I promise. I hope you all are safe and warm, and we'll see you again soon. Have a good day, everybody.